Hello everyone, welcome to Lesson 8, Corporate Strategy and Global Competition. In the past 2 weeks, we covered the chaebol in detail, going over their key structure, traits, industrial organization, work culture, and environment. Much of the focus has been on the domestic setting in which the chaebol is operated. This week, we broaden our perspective and situate the chaebol within the global context. How can we understand the position of the Korean chaebols in the global economy? The Korean chaebol not only dominates the domestic market, but they have been an increasing international presence. In recent years, a number of Korean chaebols have been listed in the Fortune magazine top 500 global companies. Some of the better-known chaebols are Samsung Electronics, LG, Hyundai Motors, SK, Samsung Life Insurance, and POSCO. In particular, Samsung Electronics has risen as a key rival to Sony, even outranking Sony in the Fortune 500 ranking. As globalization allows for an increasingly freer market, chaebols are faced with the prospects of foreign competition. It is imperative that the chaebols devise corporate strategies to make themselves competitive in this highly competitive global market. In today's lesson, we cover 3 main topics that help us understand the chaebol's corporate strategies in this global world economy. The first topic that we cover is global competition and corporate strategy of chaebol and strategic implementation. The second topic that we cover are case studies of their microwave and semiconductor. The third topic that we cover are globalization efforts, strategies of chaebol and the Korean government. The first topic that we cover looks at global competition and corporate strategy of the Korean chaebols. Korea has achieved global competition through 4 main factors. The first factor is the high emphasis on strong export promotion through industrial policies. You've covered these industrial policies in the previous lessons. The second factor is government provision of incentives to export-oriented companies. The third factor are lower wages. And the fourth factor is the adaptation of foreign technology. These 4 factors are further illustrated through the case studies of the microwave and semiconductor markets. Korea entered both of these markets at a relatively later age and in its initial stages lacked the technology to produce microwave and semiconductors. In the case of the microwave oven, Korea first acquired market share by selling microwaves at a very low price, even at a financial loss. In the case of the semiconductor, Korea went from 0 semiconductor facilities in South Korea to becoming the world's largest producer of computer memory chips. Korean companies became a dominant actor in the world's semiconductor market through active recruitment of talented workers, acquisition of technology, and heavy investment in research and development. The final topic that we look at is globalization efforts, strategy of chaebol and the Korean government. In this section, we provide a broad overview of how the Korean chaebols and the Korean government collectively tried to gain an international presence. And then we proceed to discuss the competition they face now from new emerging markets such as China. When going through this week's materials, please take note of the following keywords: corporate strategy, global competition, and global strategy. These keywords will be the guideline through which you can follow your reading materials and lecture notes. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to discuss the main strategies and factors that enable Korean chaebols to compete effectively in the world market. Starting from next week, we will look at case studies of the Korean chaebols, in particular the case of Hyundai and Samsung. I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Thank you.